Well, I just looked up the weather report because the wind is kicking up. So we have 11 to 15 mile per hour constant wind blowing to the west in this direction from the ocean behind me. And it's literally cooling off my pipe so fast, and I need a bigger tip. I just went down to my brazing box and my bigger tip is missing. So I'm going to be doing this with a smaller tip. This is real world. Life isn't perfect, and when you got to get a job done, you work around it. It's not going to be the prettiest sight, but let's go at it and see what happens. And yeah, this copper is cooling off as fast as I can heat it up. As you can see, as fast as I heat it up, it wants to cool off. So I'm trying to make the brazing rods follow the heat. Now, one thing you can't see in the camera, the difference in the heat of the pipe on the other side opposite the wind, it's staying nice and hot. But when I came around here in front of the camera, it wants to turn into Play-Doh. It just doesn't want to stay hot at all because the wind is blowing this way. And this is what my instructor at school would hate to see. You don't need to do that. You know what? I'm paying for the silver. I'm the owner operator. I'm not an employee. I don't worry about my employee wasting my silver on pipe. So yeah, I did that backwards, being on camera. It's ugly. It looks like a seagull came here and shit on it. And if you ever tried to braze with an ocean breeze running over your copper when you get in this large diameter, and I'm a tip size too small, but as you can see, when I was trying to heat it up, it would barely stay that bright shiny oxide copper, and it would immediately want to turn black. It would cool down really fast, but as I traveled my tip of flame and I got to the other side of the pipe over here where the wind is not hitting, it would stay glowing red, the whole area. So on the other side of the pipe, this area and this area would stay nice and glowing red. And I'd pull the tip back a little bit to get the heat out in this area in the far trailing edge, because as long as you keep it heat over here, your silver will pull back into your joint to get back inside there. And when you really want to test that, when you're back at home or in your shop, if you guys are teaching somebody, you have them braze scrap pieces of pipe inside the shop, and then get your hacksaw or your sawzall and cut it in half and take it apart and look inside and see that you have your brass rod all the way around. Many times I came out to a lot of jobs that would have little micro leaks inside their brazings, and they were always the most perfect, beautiful looking brazes that my instructor would tell me. My grandfather was into the beautiful brazes. My dad would teach about the beautiful brazing or welding or anything like that, but he says as long as it doesn't leak, that was more important. And my instructor definitely would never let us use so much silver when you were in HVAC class doing silver brazing. He was more into, you touched it just with enough silver to get into the joint, and you might make a beautiful clean little line of silver around, and that's all you use. But those were always the kind of leaks that I would see on a rooftop from someone unit who put it in 5-10 years ago, and there would be leaks. They were always the most beautiful looking brazes. So I steer away from the most beautiful looking brazes, and I rather use a few dollars more of this and be less profitable. And in 20 years, when my grandson comes out here, well, he's 1 year old right now, so in about 12 to 15 years, when I have my grandson with me and we're out here servicing this unit, because this unit should be around 20 to 30 years, I didn't skimp on this. And as you know, right now silver prices are up, so we're paying about $100, $120 for one tube of this stuff. It's no longer 70 some dollars, or like when I used to buy, when I started with it, these were only like $18, $21 for a tube of silver. So that's about all I gotta say now for this. And you could take a closer look at how ugly this bird turd looks. So it looks like a seagull came and just crapped right on top of it. Nice and ugly. And my HVAC instructor for brazing, he would literally have a heart attack if he's seen that much silver. He says, silver on the outside of your braze does you no good. But you know what? As long as I had done 10,000 brazes and not one braze ever leaked, I'm happy about wasting silver. That's all I gotta say for that. This is not an instructional video. This is a video showing you what happens when you're in 58-degree weather temperature with cold wind from the ocean blowing over you while you're trying to do brazing on a rooftop. And that's enough for this. See you guys.